What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today I'm going to talk about the things that you should stop doing in 2026. So, last time I talked about the things that you should be doing, but now I'm going to talk about the things that you need to stop doing in 2026, right? And the first one is getting drunk, getting wasted, right? And I mean the same also with recreational drugs like weed, other drugs, right? And it has no benefit to you, right? It just has no benefit, right? In this case, I'm going to talk about alcohol, but I'm not telling you to never drink again, right? I'm not telling you not to do that. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But what I am telling you is that you need to stop like basing your weekends around getting drunk, right? Like using Friday and Saturday nights to drink. And I'm not gonna say this because I'm not gonna act like I'm better than you. I used to do this in my earlier 20s. I used to get wasted. I used to get drunk. I used to, spend nights. I used to spend my weekends going to bars, spending money, getting shots for the boys. I get it. I get why people find it fun, and I know that's something that a lot of people find as very enjoyable and fun. But something that I realized from alcohol is that it's a low level version of fun, if we're going to be completely honest, right? It's cheap, it's accessible, you could drink anywhere. It's a low level version of fun. And the thing about it is alcohol, right? Something like alcohol works like compound interest. I always talk about habits, and I talk about things compounding over an extended period of time. Well, alcohol has that effect in a negative way, right? So, say you drink Friday and Saturday night, right? It's normal. It's not a big deal. You don't drink as much as you used to. You have beers, whatever, right? Friday and Saturday night, because you're responsible. You have a 9 to 5 job Monday through Friday, right? So you do that, right? And then maybe the Super Bowl is on one Sunday. So you're like, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna get drunk with my family or friends that Sunday and watch the Super Bowl. So you do that, right? Then your birthday comes up, right? You're like, it's my birthday. I deserve it. I'm going to take a few years and I mean, a few hours. I'm going to have a couple of beers. I'm going to have a few beers and maybe get a little drunk because I deserve it. So you're like, okay, that's great. A celebration, right? Maybe your office has happy hours every Thursday. So you're like, oh, it's just one beer. Let me just go have one beer in happy hour, right? That's the only way. That's the only reason why people would go, right? And it's fun. Holidays, right? Every freaking holiday. St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve. People love to drink in those holidays, right? And that gives you a reason to drink, right? And then if you add all these up, right, all these extra days, all the birthdays, not even only your birthday, but maybe your friend's birthday, family member's birthday, all of this stuff adds up. Suddenly, you've had about 100, maybe over 100 days of drinking, right? And the thing is, it compounds, right? Maybe you won't notice much of an effect if you're in your early 20s, right? When you're young, you're in your 20s, you have a high metabolism. You might hit the gym a little bit and you look like you're in shape, and you're just like you may be going on your genetics, right? Which is fine. It's okay for the time being, right? Then you start getting to 25. You get to your mid 20s, right? And maybe you start gaining a little bit of weight, but it's still like manageable, right? It's not. It's like you're heavier than you were before, but it's not that big of a deal, right? It's like, oh, okay, like it's fine. Then you get to your late 20s and you start noticing that maybe you're starting to look like your dad, right? And your dad maybe has a beer belly and is fat, maybe losing his hair, and you're starting to look like that, right? Or you just start looking like you notice that you're starting to get a dad bod, right? You get to your 30s, 40s, right, and on, and suddenly you talk about how it's all genetics or it naturally goes with age and why you look like that. You look puffy, you look fat, um, and maybe you blame it on genetics, but in reality, it's all from the from alcohol, right? It's all from the compounding effect of all those days and all those years of grabbing a beer, right? Drinking sugary cocktails, stuff like that, right? And the thing about it, alcohol obviously it kills testosterone, right? It ruins your skin. It makes your face puffy, right? It's gonna steal like maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 days of you if you're hungover, right? Because I know when I used to drink, the days after I felt terrible. Like I would do nothing the entire day because I was just too unwell. It was I was basically sick, right? And I don't see the benefit of that. It's poison for your body. And I'm not telling you never to drink because I don't want to be that guy in this space because I've heard other guys in this space say never drink. I don't think that's realistic for everyone, right? Some people want to drink. It'd be hypocritical of me to say never to drink because even though I haven't had a drink in over a year, maybe close to a year and a half, there will be a special occasion that I will drink. Do I know when that special occasion is? I have an idea. I don't know yet though. But I'm not saying never to drink. I'm saying that you should really heavily limit it. Don't just drink every weekend or every event. Like very heavily limit it. If you feel like you need to cut it off completely, then cut it off. It's really you're not missing out on much, right? And then the next habit you have to give up, right? So that's habit number 2, and that's eating like a child. Seriously, stop eating like a child, right? So, according to the CDC, right, in the US, from the years 2021 to 2023, 40.3% of the population of adults were obese. I'll repeat it again. About 40.3% of adults in the US from 2021 to 2023 were obese. That's insane, right? And the US is what, the third most populated country in the entire world, about a population of 400,000 people. So out of 400,000 people, there's 40.3% who were fat and overweight. Just think about that. That's an insane statistic, right? And the reason why I lead with stop eating like a freaking child, and I lead with this stat in case you don't believe me, but if you're a grown man, right? You're a grown man, you're an adult male, right? You don't have business buying sugary cereals, eating waffles for breakfast, Eggos with sugary maple syrup, right? Sugary oatmeals, eating pizza. I made a video on this, but I really want to get this through your head. Like eating pizza, first of all, pizza has, if you think about it, it has a very low ROI on just the shit that you get from eating it. It's high calorie, it's dense, right? It's all carbs, it's cheese. You don't really get any protein out of it. There's just a very little benefit from just eating pizza every day, right? Or just eating shit food like McDonald's, Burger King, right? Fast food, like crappy fast food, right? And it's just it has no benefit for you. It kills your energy. You're not going to be able to do work if you're crashed. If you're low energy, you're not going to do quality work, right? It also just like like it kills how you feel. Like you're not going to want to go to the gym either. Like you're going to feel the gym's going to feel more brutal if you're eating this shit food, right? So that's definitely one, right? Another thing too that really like grinds my gears is ketchup, right? Like stop fucking putting ketchup on everything like a child. Like if you're an 8-year-old boy, like just eat like an adult. Seriously. Like you can eat steak, you can eat eggs, you can eat ground beef, you can eat chicken, not fried chicken, but like grilled, roasted chicken. You can eat fish, you can eat vegetables, you can eat lean meats. Also track your macros and you'll see a huge difference even if you weren't working out. That's how effective it is, right? And my solution to this, right? This is how I dealt with it personally is when I was living at home with my parents, right? I was struggling to avoiding eating sugary foods. Why? Because my family, like my parents, they would buy ice cream. They would have pumpkin pie in the kitchen, cakes, cookies, right? They would have all these different snacks that you can easily just munch on in the house, right? It was easily accessible. Sure, some days I might have high discipline and resist them, but it's a losing game, right? So you need to add friction to these foods, right? I added friction by moving out of my parents' house, right? Moving out of my parents' house, so I control what is in my pantry, right? I control the food that I have. And that's the thing. Parents, I mean, not parents, but if the food is easily accessible, you're more likely to eat it, especially on low discipline days. So what you need to do is the battle's won in the supermarket. Just don't buy the shit at all. Do not buy the ice cream. Do not buy the Twinkies. Do not buy the Cheetos, right? Don't buy the potato chips. Just leave them at home. I mean, leave them in the supermarket, right? Make it a pain in the ass to get, right? You do that alone, you will not eat it because it'll be so inconvenient to grab ice cream because you have to walk to the supermarket, right? And it's not hard, but it's just not the most convenient, so you're not going to do it, right? And if all you have is maybe fruit, maybe all you have is healthy foods in your healthy snacks in your house, you're more likely just going to use healthy snacks, right? If you have pumpkin seeds or something, you're probably just going to snack on that because there's nothing else to snack on, right? All right, and then the next habit that you should get rid of, and that's spending time with losers, right? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So if you're hanging out with 5 losers, you're going to be the 6th. I promise you, right? So I remember I had a friend who was always always talking about the struggle. He was always talking about how he was always, every time I saw him, there was always like some sort of new struggle, right? It would be girls, or it would be money, or it would be parents, or whatever. There was always some sort of new struggle, and it slowly just started taking like a burden on me. And I noticed I started thinking that way too, right? And it made me realize this is someone that I need to keep my distance from because they're pulling me down. And I'm trying to I'm not trying to, but I'm working on making myself a better version of myself. And this is not helping, right? So if you're constantly around someone who's playing victim and nagging and talking about the struggle, all you're going to think about is the struggle, right? And it affects you. It affects your reticular activation system, right? The part of the brain that notices things that it only notices certain things, right? And if whatever you focus on, you notice it. So if you're focusing on negatives, you're going to notice the negatives. If you're focused on things that are going to better yourself, you're going to find ways to make your life better, right? You're going to focus more on solutions. So yeah, and another thing, right, about it is success, right? The journey to success is already hard. It's hard enough, right? So why make it harder by carrying a a burlap bag full of 50 pounds of rotten steak, right? Imagine you're climbing up Mount Everest. You're climbing up Mount Everest, right? And your goal is to get to the summit, right? Well, if you were doing that and you decided, you know what, let me carry this heavy burlap bag full of rotten steak, right? Let me just do that while I'm climbing up Mount Everest, right? It's unnecessary. It's just gonna slow you down. Like technically, you could still reach the summit, but now your chances of failing are gonna go up drastically because now you're carrying dead weight, extra weight that you did not need, right? And this is what I mean by hanging out with losers. When you hang out with losers, you're just gonna make the achieving the goal a lot harder, right? If you're around people who are telling you, oh, like why bother, why go for something like that, you don't need to do that. What it's gonna do, it's gonna it's gonna like it's gonna get in here. It's gonna make you doubt yourself, right? Think about something like starting a business, right? Starting a business is already hard enough. You're gonna face uncertainty. You're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone. So you're gonna face a lot of fear, discomfort. So why surround yourself with someone who's already talking about struggles and bullshit like that? So a solution, what I would say, in in being around better people, right? Getting in better rooms is to join, maybe go to networking events, right? Start Fighting gyms are a very good source of it because fighting gym naturally weeds out losers because fighting naturally is hard. So most of the guys who do fighting and the guys who stick through it aren't losers. They have a growth mindset somewhat, right? And any sort of group with a barrier of entry, right? I made a video on this. I got more detail with this. But yeah, and so like in Chicago, right? Something that I started doing is I started going to startup events. It's free. It's every week. They give free coffee in the morning. It's And the best part about it is I'm around like-minded people, people who are ahead of me, and also there's some people who are curious, who are thinking about starting a business, and there's also people who are in the same position that I'm in. So it's the right environment for me, right? Awesome. So the next habit that you need to freaking just get rid of, the next bullshit thing, is to stop overthinking and just train, right? Because I say this because a lot of people want to start working out, but they need the perfect plan. They need the perfect gym machine. They need the perfect gym clothes. I don't have nice gym clothes, so I need to go get gym clothes. I need to get this. I need to. Oh, I don't work. I need to start when it's not raining outside, right? And what the truth is, this is kind of a form of procrastination, right? What you need to do is just to start your damn workout, right? Sure, if you don't really know what you're doing, you could just make it super easy for you. Go on ChatGPT, ask it for a lifting routine for beginners, 3 days a week. Just stick with that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be no fancy workout plan that costs $1,000. You don't need that. You just need to start freaking working out consistently on a consistent basis, right? You don't need to overthink. Should I do cardio? Should I lift? Should I? That's up to you. If it's snowing outside, right, and you're supposed to work out that day, work out that day. Go to the gym. Go if you can't go to the gym or you don't have time, do a home workout. You could go on YouTube. There's resources out there. So I'm not going to really get into it, but there's literally resources you could do at home workouts at home. You could do HIIT workouts. That's how I that's how I was able to stay in shape even when I wasn't going to the gym, right? And yeah, there's so many different ways of doing it. You don't have to overthink it. You don't need a trainer. You don't need to wait for someone else. Just start doing it, right? And yes, I still recommend you have a gym membership because it's good to be in that environment. But if you can't go to a gym occasionally for a day, it's okay. But if you could still work out from home with a with maybe you have a yoga mat, just do it at home workout, right? Just don't overthink it. Just do what you have to do. Do what works best with you. Awesome. So the next one, right, is to get your ego out of the door. Get your ego out of the freaking way. So don't pretend like you know everything because in reality you don't know everything, right? Even pro athletes, right? They're surrounded by coaches. Um, the top politicians, they're surrounded by advisors, right? They're surrounded by these people because they need guidance, right? They need advice. These guys still need advice. And does that mean that because they need advice, does that mean you don't need advice? No, if they need advice, you definitely need advice, right? So your ego, right? So this is something that I like really thought about because I've been learning French, and that's your ego hates being a beginner, and this made me realize it because when I started learning French, right, and I started like paying for a tutor, it was very uncomfortable for me. It was very awkward for me, right, to speak a language that I didn't really know too well, right? So like I would speak and I would sound like I would make mistakes. I would sound like a child. I wouldn't know how to say certain things, right? And I still do that to an extent today. But obviously I'm better now. But I sucked at it. Like I wasn't good at it. I was a beginner at it, right? And I felt almost embarrassed. I felt like, oh, maybe I'm not meant for French. Maybe I should do something else. But that's really my ego getting in the way because it doesn't like being a beginner, right? That's something that we don't like doing. I also noticed it when I started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu a few years ago. When I started, I was getting choked. I was getting submitted. I was getting swept. I was getting my ass kicked, like constantly, right? Just constantly getting my ass kicked. And I was just like, man, I guess I'm not meant for jujitsu. But in reality, it's my ego talking. It wasn't me talking, right? Because I just didn't want to be a beginner. So I had to endure going through it. And eventually I was slowly getting a little better and better. I'm not saying I'm the best jujitsu guy in the world, but I'm better at it. And same with French. I'm better at speaking it. I'm better at understanding it. And that's the thing, right? Part of learning, right, is being sucking at it, right? Being a beginner. And if you're not willing to be a beginner in something, you're more likely to, use excuses. I'm not meant for this. Uh, my genetics aren't meant for this. Like typical fixed mindset shit, right? So you have to find a way to ignore it, and you have to find a way to keep going until you're proficient at it. And you have to mentally accept that that's part of the process, right? And I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna keep creating more content. If if you guys if you guys throw in any suggestions of things you want me to cover, things you want me to talk about in the comment section, I'd be more than happy to brainstorm ideas on what type of content you guys prefer from me. Thank you guys so much though. Subscribe and take care.